Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well and having a great June morning. Ours is very hot here. June has proven to be very summery. It is not letting up. 90 degrees every day. It's awesome. So great. Okay, so today we are going to discuss some of my favorite things. We are going to talk about alkaline, which is awesome, and master formula, which I think is pretty amazing as well. Okay, but before we talk about those particular things, I want to talk about why those particular things are so important and what makes them so great. So our bodies, as we know, our bodies require certain things to keep it going and keep things working and functioning and all of that kind of stuff. We have to have vitamins, we have to have minerals, we have to have certain enzymes for our body to continue to do the things that it's supposed to do every single day. You will find, and right now I am taking mineral essence because, you can't really see real good, but my fingernails, when you get ridges in your little fingernails, when they're got little bumps in them, like they're wavy, then that means you either got a vitamin deficiency or a mineral deficiency. And so I've been, I started getting these little ridges, and so I realized, I need to do something about that. So I've been taking mineral essence. And of course, we have to realize that these things are not going to happen overnight. These things are not going to change overnight. I think so many times, I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, well, I tried so-and-so. Now, this goes for whether you're using an oil or a supplement or whatever. This is across the board. You can't use one oil and decide, oh, well, I used it one time and it didn't work. Did you continue to use it? Did you use it every single day for at least, at the very, very minimum, 30 days? If you're not doing that, then you're not going to see a benefit because your body is continually in this cycle of regenerating. Now, you can regenerate bad or you can regenerate good. If you use one drop of lemon one time, one day, it's really not going to do anything. Now, it may, if you're cleaning off your kitchen counter, then yes, it's going to help clean that kitchen counter that one time. But if you're using it because you're trying to help support your kidneys and detox and things like that, still using it 3 days is not going to make everything all better and the whole world come back into alignment again. We have to think about these things. It takes 30 days for our body to go through an entire regeneration cycle. Hence, we, as women, we have our cycle. Those things, we have to think about that type of cycle is going on in our body all the time. And so like we get rid of old cells every single time we get to the 30-day spot for our body. That 30 days, old cells slough off and new cells come on. So we are regenerating good or bad. So if we're putting good things into our bodies on a continual basis all through the month, then we can almost guarantee that by the next month, we're going to have some better cells. That doesn't mean we still stop whatever it is we're doing because now we've got a little bit better cells. No, we keep on going because it's completely regenerating all the time. Our bodies are completely in this cycle all the time. We're wanting to rebuild good cells for our bodies. We want our bodies to be healthy. We want to live to be 125. So, my goodness, we have to make it really, really good. And that means we're going to have to do a lot of work to keep our bodies functioning the way God intended. Now, I understand better than anyone that as you get older, things get slower, things get tougher to move around, and ligaments and things don't work like they used to, and muscles start to hurt, and bodies begin to ache. And I understand this. But sometimes through the things that we are putting into our bodies on a regular basis, like it took years for it to get to this place, so it's going to take a while to get it back into a good place. Even though you may have some of these different things going on in your body, you want to make sure that you're still putting the very best things into your body, even if you're in pain all the time, because even through that, over time, your body can slough off the bad and get some good moving in. Frankincense is one of those oils that is very good for sloughing off the bad cells and rebuilding good new cells. It's an actual cell regeneration type oil, which I think is the coolest thing ever. So a drop of frankincense every day is amazing because you're going to keep on doing better for your body every single day. It does not take a gob. It does not take a gob. I mean, these oils are very, very concentrated. There again, do not use Walmart shelf oils because they are not concentrated. They are filled with chemicals and all kinds of yucky stuff that we do not need in our bodies. That's not going to do you one lick of good, because they're distilling it a whole different way and they're adding stuff to it and they're adding fragrance and all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to put that fragrance, that chemical back on your body. You're not doing yourself a bit of good. So make sure that you're using the very best stuff you can use, the very best oils, the very best supplements. And this is what I like about Young Living supplements, because a lot of times supplements that we get off the shelves at Walmart or anywhere, they've got all kinds of additive things to it. If you'll look at the amounts of different vitamins or minerals or whatever's inside of the multivitamins, they'll have a decent amount in there, but they've also added like fillers and things like that, which is not really doing you a whole lot of good. It's not pristine or pure of any sort, and it's just added stuff. You just added things in there, and it's all synthetically made. But your body only absorbs about 20 to 30% of what is in that multivitamin. So really, is that doing you any good if you're only getting 20 to 30% of that particular vitamin? It's almost a pointless endeavor to keep taking that vitamin. Whereas the Young Living vitamins, that when you put it in with the essential oils, now a lot of, like, when we're talking about vitamins and minerals, some of them are fat soluble, some are water soluble. There's different things that helps your body to absorb the different nutrients. And so depending on what you're eating or drinking or doing when you're taking that particular multivitamin, that's going to make a big difference in your body. But when you are taking Young Living supplements, they have essential oils in with them, already added in, and your body is able to absorb about 80% of the vitamins and minerals that are in that particular supplement, which is a huge difference. That makes it worth it to me to take my vitamins, even though it may be a big, huge handful. And I'm like, we feel like sometimes we're just eating taking our food in vitamins, because it's just like, we'll take a big pile of them. But I told Danny we were going to live to be 125, so whatever, you can get it. So anyway, we have to make sure that we're putting the very best things in our bodies no matter what, and we're actually building up goodness. Now sometimes, just like any day, Danny works outside. He is in the heat, he's in the freezing cold, he's in and out of a big huge truck, he's in and out of holes, he's digging, he's working. He physically works every single day, and with that becomes wear and tear on your body. So when we think about the wear and tear, and we think about all of the cells that are being really not uplifted while he's at work, having his vitamins really makes a difference on keeping him feeling good and keeping his body functioning and helping it to move the way it needs to move and keeping those joints lubricated and doing what needs to be done. Sometimes you're not going to always feel like everything's moving the way it's supposed to. Even no matter, I don't care how many different vitamins you take, sometimes you're still going to feel tired. You're still going to feel the day. But when you stop taking it and you stop doing one of these things, your body can really feel it. And then you go, oh, wow, okay, now I know why I've been taking this for so long. And so for us, it's funny because we've taken them for so long, it's really kind of hard to think about not taking them. But then sometimes you do have kind of one of those moments, and if I run out of something and I have forgotten to order it, or it hadn't gotten here yet, then you begin to feel it and you're like, oh my word, well, I really need that back. And so like you really start thinking about it again. One of the things that makes this to me so important is frequency. Now, as we know, everything begins in our gut. You may not know that, but like all of our sickness, all of everything either begins in our gut or with a mineral or vitamin deficiency of some sort. There again goes back to the gut, because our gut, if we're not eating what we're supposed to be eating, we can't get all of the nutrients out of our foods anymore. Used to, you would plant a garden and you knew that whatever was coming out of the garden was going to have all the vitamins and minerals and all the stuff. Well, now, like if you have your own personal garden and you've put good things back into the soil and you are really nurturing your soil and you're making sure that you're keeping your fruit and vegetables without having pesticides and things like that on it, and you're keeping organic growth, that is amazing. You're going to have good benefits from that. But the majority of, especially like out in the, like going somewhere and buying your fruits and vegetables, we have to really think about the fact that we used to, long ago, they would be able to plant a garden or plant, like whatever we would get from the store was actually going to have those vitamins and minerals and the nutrients that we needed. But now, because we've had to farm the same land over and over and over and over again, it's pulled the nutrients out of the ground. And a lot of times they don't put the nutrients back into the ground. So then those fruits and vegetables that we do get don't always have all the nutrients that we really need in them to help our bodies. And so that's not good either. So we have to really think about what we're putting into our bodies every single day. But if we're just like most people, if you're running and you've got to stop and get fast food, or you just really don't have time to eat, so you just grab a candy bar or whatever, then of course that has no nutrient value whatsoever. That's not doing anything for our bodies, period. So we have to make a conscious effort every day to make sure that we're at least getting something decent. Now, what happens in our body if we're not getting all of those nutrients we need, if we're not putting good things back into our bodies, one of the bad side effects of that is getting sick, because everything begins in our gut. And if the more junk you're putting into your gut, the easier it is for you to get sick or to have something crop up in your body. One of the ways that happens is through our frequency getting low, because if your body is not getting all the nutrients it needs, it gets lower, everything gets tired, everything gets weighed down, and then our frequency drops. Now, I'm going to read you this little piece out of Healing Oils of the Bible, and it's talking about electromagnetic frequency. Now, when it took me a little while to really completely understand frequency and how that worked, because you hear people talk about frequency, but it's always kind of in a weird kind of context. And so I really had a hard time wrapping my brain around frequency and how it applied to us and how it applied to oils and what that totally meant. When each oil that you get, it is still alive. It's actually, the molecules are actually moving within that oil. So when you put it on your body, it actually goes into your body moving, and is completely always moving because it's always alive. Your body is alive. So all of that works together. And because that's how the plant keeps living, is because that oil is moving up and down. It's through the plant. All the time. If you break a piece of the plant and the little juices come out, that's the oil that's in the plant, and it's actually there to help heal the plant. So that same oil then we can use. God gave us this to be able to use for our bodies, to help our bodies function and to feel good. So electromagnetic frequency. There's another dimension to the healing powers of essential oils. This has to do with the electrical properties. All essential oils carry electrical charges, usually electrons and negative ions, which are healing and healthful. They are also energetic, generating nanovolts and electricity at megahertz frequencies. That's like the same radio frequency range or millions of cycles per second. These frequencies are measurable with properly designed instrumentation. Bruce Tainio of Tainio Technology in Cheney, Washington, has developed sensitive frequency meters to measure such energies. In a series of experiments conducted by him, reported in the Reference Guide to Essential Oils published by Abundant Health, says this. Okay. The frequencies of essential oils are between 52 to 320 megahertz, the highest known of all known substances. The highest in rose oil is 320 megahertz. That's why rose is so amazing. Now, rose is very expensive because it takes so many rose petals to be able to squish into one little 5 milliliter bottle. So like when they're distilling it takes a long time to distill it. It takes a long time to get that oil out of there. So it's a very priceless oil anyway, but it's also an amazing oil because it really is the highest of the frequencies. Now 320 megahertz, like you could talk to electricity. It like makes you feel so good. Like that brings up your frequency tremendously. The lower frequency oils resonate with the bodily systems that have those frequencies, such as the bones and joints, and thus administer healing vibrations to those systems. When several oils are blended together, a fundamental frequency will emerge that may be higher or lower than many of its components. By comparison, fresh herbs measure 20 to 25 megahertz, dry herbs 12 to 22 megahertz. So you can see like what the difference is. I mean, just the herbs itself, just the plant itself is way lower. Fresh produce is 5 to 10 megahertz. Very low because there again, it's been processed so much out of the same ground that that's hard to get all those nutrients out of. And so then the frequency of that particular thing is not near as high. Processed or canned foods measure at 0. So we're not getting any goodness out of the can whatsoever. In other words, there is no life or life force in canned or processed foods. They contain chemical nutrition, but not the vital electronic nutrition of live, fresh foods. Measurements on the human body found that a healthy person has a frequency of around 62 to 68 megahertz. When a person's frequency dips to 58 megahertz, cold symptoms can manifest. Flu symptoms start at 57, Candida at 55, and Epstein-Barr syndrome at 52. Cancer then begins when the body falls below 42. The process of dying begins at 25 megahertz and goes to 0, of course, at death. So when we're looking at these kind of things, when we think about the frequency in the things that we eat and in the things that we are doing every day and the things that we're rubbing on, every single oil has a frequency to it. All of them have molecules and components that work together with our bodies to help our bodies to do the thing that it's trying to do. If it's for joints and to help support joints and muscles and things like that, then that's going to go work in those areas. But we have to also think about that as we're cooking the foods, as we're eating the foods, these processed foods are doing us no good whatsoever. So then it's hurting our gut. So then our gut gets yucky, and then we can't, our frequencies begin to drop. That's when we begin with a cold. We get to the flu. That's when, in cancer, the lower you go, cancer begins to set in. Things like that begin to set into our bodies. But we have things that we can do to counteract these particular things. We want to make sure that our bodies are healthy and that we're doing all we can for it. No, we can't always eat everything organic and straight off the farm kind of thing, but we can try our very hardest to supplement where we can. So that's where having like Master Formula comes in very handy. Now, it comes in the little pouches, which are awesome, and I love. There's 4 different little vitamins, and so we're going to talk about these really fast. Oh my word! Goodness, that just came on all of a sudden. And then we're going to talk about Alkalign really fast. That's one of my other most favorites. Alkalign is completely for the gut. And it will, if your gut, like I have one that has colitis, and this helps him so much when he has a flare-up or has something, and most of the time he just takes one every day just to kind of help keep things moving. And it really helps to supplement without having to take more medication, which is always a huge thing for me because the medications are doing not as much good as it is harm most of the time. So we try to avoid that if we possibly can. So that has been a saving grace for him completely. Okay, so Master Formula. So we've got one little liquid cap that's kind of liquidy in here. And then we've got one that's kind of like an actual, just a very hard pill, and then 2 caplets that have squished in stuff. So stuff squished into the capsule. So we're going to talk about those. So Master Formula is a full spectrum premium multi-nutrient supplement providing vitamins, minerals, and food-based nutriment to support general health and well-being of men and women. By using a synergistic suspension isolation process, ingredients are delivered in 3 distinct delivery forms. These ingredients provide a premium synergistic complex to support your body. So the micronized nutrient capsules, which are these 2 that are like has little stuff squished into them, these are basically like a whole bunch of fruits and vegetables that's been ground up and squished into the capsules. They have organic food blend of B vitamins along with chelated minerals and naturally support the body. It has vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, vitamin B, folate, vitamin B12, biotin, pantothenic, I never said it right, which is vitamin B5, iron, magnesium, zinc, selenium, magnesium, chromium, molybdenum, whatever, how you say that. Oh my goodness. And there's like gazillions more. And then it's got all kinds of fruits and vegetables and stuff all ground in there as well. So we want to make sure that we have all of those, like those 2 particular pills, they have all of the everything. Just about all the things you could think about are in those particular things. Now then, the photo caplets, which is let's see, I think one of those is that other one that has all of those gazillions of things. The other one is all of the trace mineral complex and supporting prebiotics, a powerful fruit, vegetable, and herb extract blend along with vitamin C to help scavenge free radicals in the body. And it's got a list about this long of stuff that's in there. Different fruits and blends, vegetables, herbs, Brussels sprouts, all the different things, a gazillion of them. So it actually says it on the side of the box. So like whenever you get it, it'll tell you, or if you look up ingredients, it will tell you all of the 5 gazillion things that are in there. And then the little liquid cap, the little liquid one is liquid vitamin capsules, which contain the essential oils and fat-soluble vitamins, which provide antioxidants and vitamins in a liquid delivery form for your body. So that's what's got all of the essential oils in it that help your body to absorb way better all of the vitamins and minerals. And that's the thing that really, you can really feel the difference, and it makes a big difference to have that completely. Now, mineral essence, I didn't bring my bottle in here to show you, but mineral essence is really awesome. If you feel like that maybe your minerals are very low, like I still take the Master Formula, but I take the mineral essence too, because I've really I just had some different things going on, so I really have needed to really up my minerals. So one thing that I love about it, now it's in a liquid form, it's got a little dropper thing, and so I put it into capsules. You can actually put it in like your water, but I think that would be really gross because it does not taste good. But they suggest putting it in water. It's gross. But I put it in capsules, and then I can just take it, and it's much easier. So that's my suggestion. This product is very balanced, organic, ionic mineral complex with more than 60 different minerals. Without minerals, vitamins cannot be properly assimilated or absorbed in the body. So minerals are extremely important. And that's one thing I've been worried about, is that I'm not absorbing everything that I need to. So I've been trying to use that and up that absorption ability. Mineral Essence has a natural electrolyte balance, helping to prevent disease and premature aging. Minerals are necessary for proper immune and metabolic functions, and essential oils enhance the bioavailability of minerals, which provide us with a superior product. You can, and then the Nobel Prize winner Linus Pauling said that you can trace every sickness, every disease, and every ailment to a mineral deficiency. Ionic minerals are the most fully and quickly absorbed form of minerals available. Which I totally agree. I mean, because then there again, that all goes back to your gut. Because if your gut is not absorbing everything, if you've got it so out of whack and things are so messed up in there, your body can't absorb anything. It's not going to absorb any minerals. So then your minerals are totally depleted. So everything works together. I mean, your entire body, God made it to work together. So there's no reason for us to just allow it to get in such. I think we get to this point of sickness so quick, because even though we've gone along for a really long time and things have been perfectly fine, and all of a sudden it just hits. And so you think it's something that's happened quickly, but it's really not. It's been something that has happened over time. And if you actually go back and you begin to really think through your life story and how you have felt at different times, or how your gut felt at different times, or how different things were affected along the way, you're going to realize that everything started a long time ago. When I found out that I had celiac, it was something that I realized this was not something that just all of a sudden here it is. It's something I've dealt with my entire life, but I did not know it because I only knew what I knew. I only knew that I didn't feel good at times, or I only knew that I would get sick and throw up for no reason whatsoever sometimes, but just thought it was a virus. You know, like you rationalize through these things that have always just happened, and you don't realize that there's really a lot more to this. There's a lot more. And when you start drawing this picture of your life timeline, you realize this is not something that just happened overnight. This is something that has come along in a very systematic way. It has just happened over time. So alkaline, that gets us to alkaline, because alkaline is great for your gut. This specifically designed alkaline mineral powder contains an array of high alkaline salts and other yeast and fungus fighting elements, such as citric acid and essential oils. This precisely balanced acid neutralizing mineral formulation helps preserve the body's proper pH balance. The boosting blood alkalinity yeast and fungus are deprived of the acidic terrain they require in which to flourish. When the blood and tissues of the body are already alkaline balanced, the effectiveness of the essential oils and other nutrients is even greater. Alkaline It's what you have to have acid alkaline balance, but this is called alkalyme because it does have lime in it. Alkalyme may help reduce the following signs of acid-based yeast and fungus dominance. Now, a lot of times we can have yeast and not even really realize it. Now, I know women especially get yeast infections easily, which anybody can. But I think by that point, by the time that actually surfaces, your body's overtaken with it. Like, it's really, really bad. So we have to maintain this balance on any given day, even if we don't feel like that's something that we're having issues with. But these are some of the signs and symptoms: fatigue and low energy, unexplained aches and pains, overweight conditions, low resistance to illness, allergies, headaches, irritability and mood swings, indigestion, colitis and ulcers, diarrhea and constipation. So like either way, like you can go one extreme to the other. Urinary tract infections, rectal and vaginal itch, and candida. So all of those things, and the majority of people have at least 2 or 3 of those symptoms at any given time. And this makes the whole world spin so much easier and so much better. Like, I'll just, sometimes I'll take, like it says you can take 1 a day. But there's a lot of times, like especially if my tummy gets all, if I know I've had something that's just not the grandest for me and that I don't need, then I'm going to take several a day probably. But it does help with a balance, and it does help so much to take down that bloatedness that you feel sometimes. And if you're dealing with any kind of yeast infections and stuff like that, it's going to really help with that. Like I said, Jake has colitis, and so he just does this every day just to make sure. You put it in water, it foams up. Like, it doesn't take but it says a cup of water. I do about this much. And put the little pouch, like pour the pouch in there, and it foams like a lot. You'll have to make sure you've got a 2-cup cup, because it's going to foam like I've overrun so many times over the cup because it foams up so much. But you let it sit there for about 25 seconds, let it dissolve, and then you drink it. It's just like taking an Alka-Seltzer. If you remember Alka-Seltzers back in the day, it's just like an Alka-Seltzer, and that's kind of sort of what it tastes like, kind of a limey, almost like a flat Sprite kind of taste to it. But after you drink it, now Danny, he like give it to him, he just goes nuts. He can't get used to it. But Jake and I have gotten kind of used to it, which we drink it every day. I don't have to give it to Danny every single day, but but for us, we drink it every day, and so it's kind of just become a part of us, and it really doesn't faze us anymore. But you do have to kind of get used to it because it does taste funny, and it's not something you can put into a capsule at all because it is just powder. But it don't take you 2 seconds to drink it and be done. So anyway, so I hope this is very helpful. I hope that makes sense on why we really need the good vitamins and good nutrients, and what this is doing within our bodies, and what is really causing illness to our bodies. We really want to make sure that we keep all of those things up and keep everything moving in the right direction. So I hope you'll have an amazing afternoon, and I will talk to you soon.